Yo guys, I'm Rich, welcome back to the channel. The MacBook Air M1s have been out for a little over a year now, and with the upcoming release of the newer MacBooks that's set to release later this year, I think this is a great time to talk about if the M1 MacBook Air is worth it in 2022. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna break this video down into parts and help you decide if the MacBook is worth getting. But if you're not looking at buying one and you like me or just the MacBooks as much as I do, then watch this entire video because I'm going to be covering a lot of great topics today that I think you guys want to hear. So let's talk about it. So I think if you're a little bit iffy whether or not the M1 MacBook Air is worth it right now, there are a few things I'd like to keep in the back of my mind, and I'll share those things with you in this video. First off, if you need to get a laptop right now, maybe your laptop is broken, the current machine is holding you back, essentially you just need a laptop as soon as possible. Yes, of course, I think the 2020 M1 MacBook Air is worth it. For just under $1,000, you're getting a great and powerful laptop that's more than capable of running just about anything out there right now. This is a great laptop. The current MacBook Air is still the most powerful Ultrabook you can buy, and even with the updates to the new 12th gen Intel and the new low-powered Ryzen processors, there's nothing on the market that can top this in terms of its price to performance ratio. For example, maybe you want a school computer that can open up all your tabs and textbooks, surf the web, watch some videos, edit videos, make music, coding, and more. The performance on the Air is still absolutely great. The M1 chip, till this day, is very capable of handling all my wants and needs. Battery life is staggering. You can absolutely get a full day's work done on this computer without having to reach over for your charger, and believe me, you still have some juice left over for the next day. And I'm still using this MacBook every day for about a year now. And if you're interested about what I think about this laptop after a year, I made a whole 1-year review. You can watch the video right up here from a student perspective. I'll talk about all the great things about it. Phenomenal machine. But regardless, I wouldn't feel like I'm missing out on too many nice features unless the 2022 MacBook Air greatly improves that webcam. Yeah, that webcam's probably the one gripe I don't like. But again, I still believe that if you want a laptop right now, the M1 Air is totally worth it. There's also been a lot of sales for this over the last holiday seasons. I've seen the price drop as low as around $850. So I'm very sure that we'll see this price drop later this year, which is a great time for those who haven't to pick one up already. But let's say you don't absolutely need one right now, or you don't mind waiting a few more months for the new MacBook Airs to drop. I honestly still would recommend buying the MacBook Air right now, just because you'll be able to use it for the time being and can really get the best bang for your buck out of it. I mean, I can already tell you 3 to 4 months in and using this machine, I was already like, this is a fantastic laptop. I got my money's worth. Now, the exception for not wanting to get the M1 MacBook Air right now is, well, let's say everything is going well, maybe your laptop is doing just fine, then honestly, I would wait a few more months and wait for the new MacBook Airs to drop, reevaluate what I need from there, and then make that purchase decision. But if you wait that long, the MacBook Airs right now are gonna drop in price, seriously. So it's still gonna be a great buy. It's not gonna be outdated or left behind in any way. At this point, if you're currently fine with what you got, then buying the new MacBook Air is more than a want than a need in my opinion. Okay, so hopefully that answers some of your questions that you may be thinking about. So now I want to take this part of the video and share with you some of my favorite features of this laptop and basically show it some more love it deserves. I'm sure a lot of you guys want to hear this. It's just a phenomenal laptop, but let's just get right into it. The design of the MacBook Air, in my opinion, has always been hands down the best looking laptop out there. Everything from the sharp edges to its lightweight design makes the Air very stylish. Being that this laptop weighs only 2.8 pounds is a huge relief, and as a college student, I love the portability that it offers. When I'm bringing this laptop around or storing it in my backpack, there's hardly any noticeable weight differences. It's very light, and I like that a lot. Apple is rocking a beautiful 13.3-inch 2560 by 1600 Retina display, which is pretty nice even after a year of using this. As a student, I can definitely say that this adds to the overall workflow experience. Whenever I type essays, scripts for YouTube, assignments, everything looks great, and I never would have thought something as boring as seeing a bunch of text could look pretty sharp and immaculate on this screen. The Touch ID button works phenomenal as it allows for super quick and easy access for logging into the laptop, purchases, and finding passwords. You're getting 2 USB-C ports on the left-hand side, both supporting Thunderbolt 3 charging and video output. and lastly a headphone jack on the right. Chances are you're going to be living that dongle life, so I recommend getting one of these Anchor 5-port USB hubs. It comes with 2 USB-A ports, an SD card reader, as well as an HDMI port. Very useful for plugging in a bunch of your tools and medias. I highly recommend it. You're going to need it, one way or another. So do yourself a favor, pick one of these up if you have a MacBook already or if you're planning on getting one. But what I really love about the MacBook Air is obviously the M1 chip and how much power it's able to produce. The single and multi-core performance definitely beats a lot of other Intel and AMD laptops out there, like I previously mentioned, and could even take on some mid-range gaming desktops. I know it's probably just as powerful as my old gaming PC that's right over here. It's hard for me to describe how fast this is under normal usage, so the best thing I can give you are a few examples. Opening apps like Google Chrome, Safari, or Maps feel very snappy. I can open a lot of tabs, and among them are articles, YouTube videos that I'm watching. At the same time, I have FaceTime running with my friends, and there'd hardly be any slowdown. I can carry out my tasks without having to wait for things to load as long, and what really surprised me the most is when I decided to edit full-fledged videos on this laptop. I use DaVinci Resolve, which is a very power-hungry video editing software. On my previous video, I compared the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro 14-inch, and in that, I rendered the same 4K timeline with a handful of transitions, a lot of clips, fusion templates at around 5 to 6 minute video length. The Pro was able to render the entire timeline at around 2 minutes, and the MacBook Air came in just over 3 minutes, and that's still very, very impressive. It's worth noting I do have the base model MacBook Air with 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigabytes of SSD storage, but ultimately that test was done to show how much the MacBook Air is able to catch up to the MacBook Pros, and a lot of new apps today are being optimized for M1, as well as the new macOS Monterey software that's out, so I really recommend getting this. It's just a phenomenal laptop. My university right now is recently updating all of its software and apps for engineers and whatnot, artists out there, to macOS Monterey, and their support is really great. But overall, with due time, I believe the MacBook Air M1 will definitely be worth it. If you get this now, I wouldn't worry about upgrading or feeling left behind in terms of performance in the next couple of years. The M1 chip packs a serious punch in such an elegant form factor. I think one of my favorite things I love about this laptop is that it just works. Its overall usability, most things work well here. The laptop screen feels very sturdy. It doesn't wobble, as compared to other laptops. I love being able to move quickly with this machine. Say I was working on something and I needed to relocate. I can simply close the lid, tuck it in my backpack, move, reopen it, and I'll be right back at it. The problems I had with other laptops was, I close the screen and then I reopen it, then the app buffers, the battery will drain, the fans start kicking in. The fans are loud. The MacBook Air is fanless. This is a great thing. I never hear any sounds coming out of the device. At the $999 price point, I think it's hard to recommend anything else because all those things I talked about earlier in this video. And like I said, you can normally find this on sale for as low as $850 if you wait during some of those holidays. But anyways, is it worth it in 2022? Yes, I think it is. Anyways, leave a comment down below what you guys think of this MacBook. Do you have one already? Are you looking at getting one? If you already have one, tell me how it is. How long have you had it for? How is it treating you? What do? Do you code, make music, surf the web? Anything, honestly. I want to hear what you guys are talking about. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. There's going to be a lot more content on the way. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next video, I will see you then.